Hello, Swivel heads. This is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you live tonight with special guest Doug Thompson coming back to our channel for another round. They're going to take a hot topic straight to the ground with the Candida Auris. My friends, this disease is scary. It has a lot of potential to cause trouble in this country because for those that get it, it has a fatality rate of 30 to 60% in some cases. But getting it and having been subjected to it is not the typical sort of thing in reality. But we got to be prepared for this because, as Doug's going to tell you, this thing has a potential to shut down hospitals and cause all kind of mayhem. And when we're looking at potential bird flu epidemic, this might wreck the train before the bird flu comes in. And then I don't know if y'all seen Dr. Paul talking lately about his new theory of what they're going to come out with next. Holy smoke, guys. All right, Doug, tell us about this Candida. What do you see as the biggest threat?
Hey, Greg, thanks for having me today. I just want to start off by saying I'm not a medical professional. Nothing I say here should be misconstrued as medical advice. I'm a prepper, and as a prepper, I look to prepare for these type of occurrences, and I go through all the scientific literature and journals and try to find out as much as I can about specific topics that are a threat to us. And so what I'm going to do today is we're going to go ahead and talk about much of the information that the mainstream media has not stated about this threat. Okay, so we're going to go over some general information. We're going to go over identification methods, disinfectants that work, disinfectants that don't work, some of the typical treatments that you would expect to get if you were infected with this yeast, and some potential home therapies. Now, this Candida auris is a fungal infection, and this last Monday, the CDC put out a critical update regarding Candida auris. What they found from data from 2021 was that there was a threefold increase in drug-resistant strains. Now, that is very concerning because there are not very many drugs that are effective at treating Candida auris. There's a certain class of drugs called echinocandins, which up until 2021 were being used to keep this infection at bay. And those three drugs were all in a class of drugs called echinocandins, and they were mycofungin, caspofungin, and anidulafungin. There was another one that was called amphotericin B that was being used, but it was not effective as the echinocandins. Now, some general information, like Greg said in the beginning of the video, this yeast has a 30 to 60% mortality rate. That's huge. Okay. Now, typically, what you find is people who are healthy are not really at risk of contracting this yeast, but where you see it occur is in hospital with people who are undergoing long-term care that have invasive equipment attached, like catheters and ventilators, things like that, or people who have undergone surgery, right? Contraction usually occurs with contact from an infected person or a contaminated surface or a tool. And so just to give you an example at how rapidly this has been spreading, it's in 30 countries right now. In 2018, in the United States alone, there was only 330 cases reported. Okay. In 2019, it went from 330 to 476. And then there was almost a doubling in 2020 of 756 cases. And then 2021 saw 1,471 cases. And then this data hasn't been officially released, but it's in the database right now. 2022 saw roughly 2,377 cases. So it's almost a doubling every year. And if this trend continues with a doubling in cases and a tripling in drug-resistant strains. This could spell catastrophe for not just hospitals in the United States, but hospitals across the world. The hospitals really need to update their disinfecting protocols to deal with this. Otherwise, in 10 years, if this continues to double as it has been, you're going to start seeing millions of cases, right? And I propose that before that occurs, you're going to see massive amounts of class action lawsuits against the hospitals if they don't get this under control. Because the last thing that anybody wants is to go into a hospital under the knife, get surgery, and then come down with the yeast infection that has a 30 to 60% mortality rate, right? So they've got to nip this in the bud, and they've got to do it now, because if it continues to spread as it has been, it's going to get bad. It's going to get really bad. So let's talk about some of the symptoms and some of the things that we can do as preppers. Right? That's the whole reason we're talking about this. Is what can you do as a prepper to get ready for this, to prepare for this, right? So some of the symptoms are going to be fever, aches, and fatigue. I know it's not a lot. It would kind of seem benign. Could present as something else, and that's really one of the reasons why this is such a concerning infection, right? And this infection can also be misidentified. Okay, now everything I'm saying is going to be in this little document I've created for you, right? If you want a copy of this document, you can get it. I gave a link to Greg. It'll be somewhere in the description box or in the chat. If you want to review the source information, you can do that on your own. I made this single page PDF. It's on archive.org. All you have to do is go to archive.org and type my channel name in there, Uncommon News 777, and it'll pop up. It'll be one of 3 documents that'll pop up. It's called Prepper's Guide to Candida Auris. So if you want to double check what I'm saying, you can read all that stuff on your own. So let's talk about the identification methods. Now, this might not be for you, but we're going to talk about it anyways, because this kind of information is critical for practitioners. So according to some studies, Candida auris can be misidentified using common commercial identification systems such as VITAC2 and API-20C, okay? But it can be correctly identified by the MALDI-TOF using the research-only database and by sequencing of internal transcribed spacer and D1, D2 domains. Now, all that being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about disinfectants that work and then disinfectants that don't work, right? So disinfectants that work are going to be bleach, chlorhexidine, and iodine, all right? There's several studies in this PDF that you can go and look at for that, but that's a summation of the ones that work. And the disinfectants that don't work are ammonia wipes, which is very common in hospitals, which could be one of the reasons why it's spreading rapidly, and UV lights. Now, a lot of times UV lights are used as a disinfectant in hospitals or labs or offices or even in gyms, right? And they don't work in this case, right? So, if this fungal infection moves from the hospital to like a gym, then you could start seeing people with scratches, breaks in their skin, potentially catching this thing. So it's it is definitely a concern in that regards. Now, as mentioned previously, the type of drugs that you would expect to be treated with if you had this infection, it's called echinocandins. There's 3 primary ones that are used: micafungin, caspofungin, and anidulafungin. The problem with that is the data shows that in 2021 there was a 3-fold increase in resistance to these drugs. So that's a big deal, right? Because as we've mentioned before, 30 to 60% mortality rate, right? So very concerning in that regards. Amphotericin B can also has somewhat of a potential use, but it's not very effective. Now, the potential home therapies. I've mentioned this on my channel. We're going to mention it here.
Hey,
There's
what
another.
about Doug, somebody asking in the chat room about colloidal silver. Does that work?
Yes, there were studies that have been shown that colloidal silver is effective against the Candida auris species. There was a study in which we're going to go ahead and talk about that now. I was trying to get on your live chat, but your thing isn't popping up here on my feed. Let me check. All right, I'm on your live chat now. So we'll go into we're going to talk about potential home remedies now. So colloidal silver is really, for me, would be number one. Okay, that's the one I personally would use, and I can't make recommendations here, but yes, there was a study which was conducted in 2020, which was a year after the first scare. So the first time people were concerned about this was in the early 2019. There were a lot of articles about Candida auris, and a lot of people were concerned about it. So I posted a video basically summarizing a lot of the scholarly journals entries regarding this topic, and I postulated back then that colloidal silver should be looked into as a potential treatment for this. And a year later, it was studied, because colloidal silver has shown very strong fungicidal activity against Candida albicans and Candida glabrata. So I postulated that it would be, effective against Candida auris as well. So, and then, a year later, that study came out. So it is definitely something that, a prepper could have on hand. And I definitely would. Right. Another one that is worth looking into is allicin. Allicin is a molecule which comes from garlic. It hasn't been shown to be effective against Candida auris, but there are several studies which has shown allicin to be effective against several different types of Candida species, Candida strains. So it's definitely something to consider, definitely something to look into. If you have a green thumb, if you like to garden, this year, maybe, think about growing a little bit more garlic than you typically would, because not only would it be good for potentially for a Candida auris problem, but also for several other problems like avian flu. We'll just leave it at that. Now, povidone iodine has a very strong action against Candida auris, especially topically. So that's definitely something to always have on hand as preppers. Is something you should always have, and I would recommend that you go get it if you don't have it right now. Now, before we went live, I found some more another study which was very promising. This study was published in the European Journal of Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. If I remember correctly, this was from 2010. They tested the title of the study is this. This is the title: Fungicidal activity of thymol and carvacrol by disrupting ergosterol biosynthesis and membrane activity against Candida. And basically what they did, so if you're not aware, thymol is a molecule which is extracted from thyme, all right, the spice thyme, essentially essential oil of thyme, basically. Essential oil of thyme is going to have thymol, okay? So what they found, they tested thymol and carvacrol against over 110 different strands of Candida. And what they found was that it had a strong fungicidal activity against all of the Candida species that they tested it against. Now, I wasn't able to access everything in the study, so I didn't find out if they tested it against Candida auris. Okay, it costs money to access the full report, right? And so but nevertheless, in the summary, they tested it against 110 species, and it had strong fungicidal activity, even against drug-resistant strains. So, like I said, if you are a gardener, you have a green thumb, you like to grow spices, you might want to consider growing thyme, and you also might want to consider growing a lot of garlic this season, because white thyme itself also has a lot of not just antifungal activity, but a lot of antiviral and antibacterial activity as well. It is, if I'm not mistaken, white thyme is one of the best antivirals that you can get. There's no commercial product that rivals it. So I would strongly encourage the audience to start growing thyme, or to at least stock up on it or its essential oils. So I think that pretty much sums up the prepper's guide to Candida auris. Like I said, guys, it's a single page PDF. Okay. If you want to take a look at the source material on your own, which I have presented to you today, there should be a link in the description box or somewhere in the chat or comment section to archive.org. And you can take a look at it. It's just a single page PDF, just literally, and I'm trying to post more single page PDFs. I also got another one on H5N1, Prepper's Guide for H5N1, and a Prepper's Guide for treating dioxin in your soil, body, food, and water. So take a look at those things, guys. They're free. I put a lot of work and effort into it for you guys, so to help you be prepared, because not a lot of people are talking about this subject, and the people who are talking about this subject aren't talking about what we can do to prepare for these things, because they are a threat. And so, if you haven't checked out my channel, go check out my channel. I talk about these things in depth. And, if you like this content, then don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on the live stream for us.
Hey, Doug, talk about white thyme. Somebody asked what's white thyme. They said they only know of green thyme.
White thyme is just another type of thyme. There were several studies regarding the antiviral effects of white thyme against common viruses, and it has shown to be very effective. And so that's, I would definitely encourage you to study more about white thyme. Like I said before, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't give you medical advice. But what I can do, and what I'm trying to do, is kind of guide you into the right direction so that you can find out or come to these conclusions on your own, where I think you should conduct your own research and consult with your medical provider. Yep. Let's see any.
There's other things to consider, like staying well and staying out of the hospital.
Absolutely. And like I said, the main thing I'm concerned about with this is if the hospitals do not update their disinfection protocols to deal with this and to suppress it, it's going to continue to double almost. We're seeing, from a 60 to 90% increase in cases every year, and the cases are becoming 3 times more drug resistant. So if that's the case, then just imagine a lawyer getting hundreds of people together for a class action lawsuit against the hospital. That's going to shut hospitals down. And then with avian flu on the horizon, and God knows what else, if the hospitals don't get this under wraps, then they're going to be shut down. They're going to be nickeled and dimed. They're going to be squeezed out of existence. So that is my major concern about this. Because like I said, this doesn't typically pose a threat to healthy people. It poses a threat to people who are immune compromised and who are attached to invasive equipment, right? But that's not to say that it's a free pass for the doctors, right? The doctors have to make sure that their patients are protected from this, because if they don't put the proper protocols in place, then they could be held liable. And if they're held liable, they're going to be put out of practice. And that is my main concern. And it's not just hospitals here in the United States, it's hospitals all across the world. I mean, this has been found and reported in 30 different countries, and that number is going up every year. So, if it doubles every year, if it continues to double every year, we're going to be looking at, just in the United States, we're going to be looking at millions of cases in 10 years, millions. Now, I'm not an expert on this, virology or anything like that, but, just looking at the numbers, if it continues to go the way it is, it'll be millions in 10 years. So that's very troubling, very troubling.
Rickles in the chat room asked, was this more dangerous than MRSA? Fatality rate's higher.
Yeah, fatality rate's higher. But I wouldn't know the answer to that question, to be honest with you.
Depends on how contagious it is too.
Yeah, it doesn't from what I have seen, it doesn't spread, from like coughs and stuff like that. So you've got to come in contact with a person or a surface or like a tool which has it on there. And that's another thing. If I'm not mistaken, this can last for several months on a surface. And so that's another reason why, like even very deadly viruses don't last that long on surfaces, but this Candida species can last for a very long time. So if you don't have the proper disinfecting protocols in place, then you're not going to properly disinfect this thing.
I'll turn to that in a minute, but somebody asked, and they've asked twice, is zinc effective?
That's a good question. I haven't seen anything regarding zinc, but I'll definitely look into it. So stay tuned. If I update the Prepper's Guide, you go back to archive.org every once in a while, because I do update these prepper guides. So the current prepper guide does not have the information or the source material regarding Thymol. I'm going to put that in there tonight. I'm going to update it. So go back and check for that, for these kinds of updates and things like that. So if there's something you want me to look into, I'll look into it and I'll update the Prepper's Guide. This is definitely a community effort. So if you guys want me to, look into something, or if you want, you want to guide me in a direction to look at something, then I'm open to look at that and put it in the Prepper's Guide, because this is a free resource for everybody. So just let me know if there's something you're aware of that I'm not aware of. I don't know everything, but I'm open enough to hear what you have to say. So I'll look into zinc. Let me write that down.
Nobody knows everything. We've got a lot of people that's just joined the chat room. So do you want to just do a rerun on the protocol real quick?
Yeah, so the potential home therapies would be colloidal silver, and there have been several case studies that showed that colloidal silver is safe in a nebulizer. I'm not recommending that you do that, but it's something to research on your own. Okay, I use colloidal silver in a nebulizer. There's been several case studies of other people who've done that and shown that there's no adverse reactions to that. Okay, so colloidal silver has shown very strong antifungal activity against biofilms, preformed biofilms, and of Candida auris. So it is effective. There was a study done in 3 years in 2020 regarding that.
What about oregano's derivative called organol, or however you say that?
Yeah, I would imagine. I have not looked into that, but I will. I would imagine that would probably be a good idea to use that as well. I've heard good things about that.
Viral and antibacterial. I don't know about fungal.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. But Allison has. There's been a lot of studies regarding the antifungal activity of allistin, which is a molecule of garlic. but there hasn't been one specifically done, a trial, not that I was able to find at least, against Candida auris. So it's something to look into. It's definitely something for the scientists to get on top of. And then povidone iodine has a very strong effect against Candida auris. So that's something that you could use topically, right? And then thymol and carvacrol, which are two molecules found in the essential oil of thyme. So those are, from what I've been able to find, probably the most effective home therapies that you could implement if if you contracted this or you knew someone that contracted this. So yeah, let's see, any other questions here? Right, all that, okay, all that being said, this we earlier we talked about disinfectants, right? Bleach, chlorhexidine, and iodine, right? You could also use colloidal silver as a disinfectant, obviously. Now, all that being said, if you're a prepper, right, and you want to provide something to your community, it might not be a bad idea for you to invest in something like this, like a cheap or even a professional colloidal silver generator. I mean, these things are less than $30. They work very well. All you need is a 9-volt battery in there and some pure silver rods, and put it in distilled water. There you go. You've got your couple that with a spray bottle, and you've got a disinfectant right there. You can spray your surface or spray whatever. And then another thing I think all preppers ought to have is a bleach generator, sodium hypochlorite generator. You can get something like this for $20, $25. They're very, very cheap. I mean, all you need is some salt, one of these things, and you can generate this. This one plugs into USB. It doesn't generate it very quickly, but it does generate bleach. So if you if you're worried about not being able to get bleach, I mean you can make it. Just get one, get something like this. Get a bleach generator, get a colloidal silver generator, have them on hand just in case you need them. And they're good for way more than just Candida auris. I mean, if you're able to make bleach with one of these, you're able to disinfect water and all kinds of stuff. It's a product that you can sell in a SHTF scenario, which is very, very very good to have. It's very very beneficial, and same with the colloidal silvers. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're a prepper, you go ahead and consider purchasing something like that.
Oh, very good. Yeah, that's good ideas. Oh yeah, just for another little shameless plug, if you are a prepper, you better consider that we're into all kind of supply chain issues, with the potential of a hospital shutting down, as he's mentioned. I'd say get your seeds right now. It's garden time. You can check my links to True Leaf Market for that stuff, and Eden Brothers. But also, you better consider some long-term food storage that you can put in a cache somewhere that you can bury or move out and bug out easy with. And for that, I do like the My Patriot Supply stuff. If you want that, go to prepwithgreg.com. Prepwithgreg.com. You get this stuff. You got a $200 off for a 3-month supply right now. Check it out. Prepwithgreg.com. All right, that said, everybody needs to go to Doug's channel and subscribe to him. He deserves a lot more subscribers than he's got. He puts out a lot of good content, and we need to help him boost that up some. So go in there, and if you're not subscribed to him, do it now. How many subscribers you got, Doug?
Last time I checked, I think it was 1,095. I do a lot. My channel, the premise of my channel is a preppers news channel.
Yeah.
So I talk about prepping, and I talk about current events which are underreported, things that trends that I see in the news. I have a lot of experience all over the place. I was in DHS, I was in the Army for 6 years. So I know, let's just say a little bit about a lot.
And you pick up on some good stories and you got good perspective.
Yeah, and go ahead.
As an example, one of your latest was, you noticed in this, everybody was not putting out this stuff, the story about these Chinese that were being sent to our southern border, but you took a look and made this interesting discovery about that nobody else picked up on that I've seen, and that is,
yeah, they appear to be Korean, and the thing about that, there are facial distinctions between Chinese and Koreans that the average American might not know, but if you study these things and you look at the faces, you can tell there are differences, and there are several photos and videos of Asian men, military age, very well fit, who've been crossing the border illegally, who appear to be Korean. Now, the major concern about that is that South Koreans wouldn't typically do that. It's not something that they would do. Their culture is not. They don't have the culture to kind of do that, kind of thing. And not only that, they wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want to do it, and they don't have to do it.
No, trouble in the United States and South Korea.
Yeah, there's no problem with South Koreans getting into the United States, but a major concern is that just the other day, 800,000 people signed up to fight the United States in North Korea. 800,000 people in North Korea, 800,000 men in North Korea signed up to fight us. Okay, now China has been penetrating and probing our border for years. They've been working directly with the cartels. Okay, so they know how to get into our country, right? And just the way fifth generational warfare is these days, plausible deniability is the #1 name of the game. Everybody fights by proxy these days, right? So if China wanted to fight us, the way they would start is sabotage and chemical war, bio war, all that stuff, and then proxy war, right? You would see them getting their proxies in, which would be North Korea. And so that's something, I'm down here at the Rio Grande. I'm along the border. Okay, so it's something I'm trying to keep my eye on for you guys. And I could definitely use the support. I'll just leave it at that. If you want to support my work, you want to support my channel and help me to bring better coverage to you and to everybody else, if you feel so inclined to do that, there's links in my channel where you can help support my channel. So
all right, very good. Appreciate that, Doug. Doug's always full of really good information. He is packed with content, but he is straight to the point, and he covers topics that the platform is somewhat less than absolutely thrilled over.
Yeah, I've had several videos which I could prove have been throttled. Yeah, I had 2 videos that began to go viral a couple weeks ago, and they shot up and then they hit a ceiling, flatlined. That kind of
happened. That's them shutting off. There's a guy from New Mexico running for governor of New Mexico, and he also went on the Canadian Prepper after he went on me, I think, somewhere around the same time. But he on Canadian Prepper, they only talked about his missile experience, and I talked about that too. He worked in missile silos, but I let him talk a little bit about his run for governor, and I guess that was it was popular, but boy, it was not popular with the platform because it shot straight up and then it just shut down all at once. Flatline.
Yep.
Then, nothing does that. That's not a natural curve. There's no shooting up like a rocket and going flatline. That means you got an intercept.
Yep.
That's what got an intercept, and it's called YT. So
exactly.
All right.
We're swimming against the stream here. So
talk about something here from like the eucalyptus tree. It's called how do you say that? Eucalyptal. I can't even say it wrong.
Eucalyptal.
Eucalyptal. Is that how you say eucalyptus?
Camphor. Yeah.
from eucalyptus and camphor trees, some gum trees. So maybe
Who'd that come? That came from Green Country Agroforestry. Yeah, that's probably a good idea to look into.
He's one smart
Yeah,
kid.
he's a smart guy. Yeah, let me look into that.
You're definitely looking at that one. He's a super smart guy. All right, so let's see, Paul Jensen. Just see my email. Thought you were here. Oh, I got a lot of people emailing me.
Not 925. Can you make colloidal silver with 925? Stray kitten. I wouldn't advise it. You'd be, there's potential that you would have some kind of toxicity with that
or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Cassandra. How you doing? Just letting some people in the chat room. Got a bunch of people from Arizona in here. There's Wrath. Greeting to you. All right. Let's see. All right. So
DJ J-Man's no, it's not airborne. You've got to come in contact with a surface or a person that has it. Somebody asked if it's airborne. No, it's not.
Yeah, he's asked it earlier too. Yeah, it's just hard to keep up. You get so many questions. It's hard to keep them all out here, but that's definitely been asked earlier. So Captain Trips just coming down.
This is a yeast. It's not. It's a yeast. It's not like a.
Yeah. All right. So what else would be good to tell people just to keep up your health, stay out of the hospitals, take your vitamin D3, and if you take that, get some K2 to go with it, because that vitamin D3 tends to demineralize your bones and build up a concrete type sludge in your blood veins, which could be like clog your arteries and stuff, harden your arteries. But if you do the K2, it's alleged, I'm not a medical authority, so I got to say it's alleged according to some sources and all kind of disqualifiers. Let me roll out a bucket load of disqualifiers here, because we have such a wonderful freedom of speech in this country. But vitamin K2 helps to remineralize that in your bones and take it out of your bloodstream. So I do both. I do K2 and D3. I'll be got them both here in this bag. But when I take them together. So that's take your vitamin C. I'm probably shy on some of the B vitamins. We got a couple ladies in here, more than a couple, who's really good with all this stuff. Yes, to Nigella and clove. I don't know what that is, Rainbow, but Rainbow Food Rocks and New Days are both great herbalists. Sunflower oil kills topical and internal fungal infections. Sunflower oil, that's something we'll look at. That's interesting. So, yeah, we got quite a broccoli, says Merlin's Rough. Hey, then do the broccoli micrograms. You think broccoli? What about the broccoli does? Now, you talked a lot about Allison, and yeah, that's my last name, but that's not spelled the same. So, no. By the way, I do grow a lot of garlic. If you go to my garden, that's what my garden is. I just hope I can harvest it in June. I don't know if I'll be here. I don't even know if I'll own it anymore then, but I do the vitamin D3 and the K2. You can get MK7 also. It does the same thing. It's supposed to be better according to some. But you can see I do both the D3, and I like it when it's like the gel caps, instead of the other stuff. I think it's more readily absorbable. Same with vitamin C. I get it in
Old as Dirt asked a question that I want to
go for it.
touch on again. Old as Dirt asked a question. What, if any, is there ways to test for it? Now, we touched on this earlier, but I'll talk about it again. So Candida auris can be misidentified by commercial identification systems such as VITAC2 and API-20C. These are identification systems which are typically used, and they would misidentify it. That's what there was a study that showed that several years ago. I don't know if that is still the case, but there was a study that showed that. I think it was from 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But it can be correctly identified by MALDI-TOF. That's MALDI-TOF. In 2018, you had to use the research only database. I don't know if that's still the case, but that's how they were correctly identifying it back then. And they have to sequence the internal transcribe spacer and D1, D2 domains. So, that kind of information would typically just be for like practitioners, people who, would know what I'm talking about. But I put that in there, obviously, just in case something happens to the databases or to the internet and they don't have access to the journals. This kind of stuff is in here. And that was, that's one of the reasons why we're talking about it now, because, there are major vulnerabilities to the internet and to several different databases. So it's important that we get this stuff out there.
Amen. Amen. Somebody talk about organic turmeric. I grow everything organically, a bit higher than organic because I don't use any chemicals or anything at all. Yeah, that's how I met New Day. She ordered turmeric from me. I used to sell it mail order. I don't have enough to do that with right now. I got a little patch of it because I accidentally misstored it one year and I lost a bunch. How you like my little cloves of garlic, by the way?
That's little. That's real little.
Yeah, just pop all that in your mouth at once. Actually, that's garlic. Technically, it's a leek, but it tastes like garlic and it has allicin, just like garlic. Plus, it's got the benefits of leek. So it's like you get a twofer with elephant garlic and it grows big too. So maybe a threefer. I hope I can grow that in Arizona, but I don't know how you can get to harvest this stuff.
Yeah, you pretty much have to do everything in a greenhouse, I think.
I may be out of here before that.
Hardenack asked a question. Good to see you, Hardenack Farms. Hardenack Farms asked, what are the symptoms of this? The symptoms seem relatively benign. It's just fever, aches, and fatigue. And that's one of the main problems with this, because it could present as, several things. And so, when you get someone who's immune compromised or, already, doing bad, and they have fever, aches, and fatigue, and they always have fever, aches, and fatigue, it could be deadly, because it could go untreated. It could go unnoticed. And that's a major concern. The symptoms, I mean, this is just according to like WebMD, right? You can look up all these things as well. And I always encourage my audience and everybody who is listening to me to do the research on your own. And that's the reason why, with everything I say here tonight, there's a source link. And that's why I put this PDF on archive.org for you, so that you can do the research on your own. It's definitely something that preppers ought to look into, so that you can decide for yourself how best to respond to something like this if things, God forbid, if things get out of control, because this definitely has the potential to cause things to get out of control, right? Yeah, I mean, the way the law system works in this country, lawyers would be salivating at a class action lawsuit for this, yeah, that's
Okay,
I think that's
people have been asking about ivermectin in the chat room. And by the way, I want to say thank you for the super chat there, Susie Q. You're awesome. Appreciate that. But so people have been asking about ivermectin and discussing that in the chat room. What's your take on that?
Good question. I haven't come across anything regarding that. I have no idea. I have no idea. I will definitely look into it. Let me put that on a list of things. So I'm gonna, after the live stream, I'm gonna look into zinc, oregano, eucalyptol, and the word that we probably shouldn't say on the live stream. Rhymes with pectin.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we should say that. I think that might be one of the flags. So
I think I might have stepped in it there a minute ago.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful. God, there's so many keywords that the platform don't like. Oh my gosh, it's just, you almost can't speak English. You gotta have another language. Pig Latin. Pig say you patently. I want to.
Let's see.
Is the algorithm smart enough to speak pig Latin?
There is. I'm pulling up this. I guess we'll talk about this live. Let's review this live. Let me go ahead and post the link.
Let's see. Let me make sure you're set to share.
I'll go. What I'll do is I'll go on the live stream here on my PC, and I will post. I think I might have to turn the audio down. Stand by. You might hear feedback real quick. All right. Let me mute this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and we'll post this link, and then we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. So I'm going to post this link in the live chat. This is a scholarly journal entry. I think, yep, it looks like it posted. Okay. So, all right, let's take a look at this.
Archive.org. I still see your stuff.
No. I posted one from online library, WWIII.com. You'll see it, Uncommon News. Not in the Zoom, Greg. Not in the Zoom chat. In the YouTube chat.
I got you.
Yeah.
You got screen share. If you want to bring a screen up, you can do share. I just gave you screen share rights.
Oh, is that right? Let's
or something you want to share, go for
it. I've never done that. Let me see.
Share screen is right in the bottom, that square right in the bottom of the screen.
Share screen. Okay.
You select on your computer screen.
Can you see that? Does it show up?
Yeah. My coach.
Okay. So this is let's see, what WWIII Online Library. Let's see here. What I got this in the way. Okay, so mycoses, diagnosis, therapy, and prophylaxis of fungal diseases. This is volume 64, issue 11 from November of 2021. This is in regards to the question that somebody asked regarding a word that we're not allowed to say. And this is the abstract from that study. It says Candida auris is an emerging and drug-resistant pathogen. Drug combination is a promising approach against such pathogens. This study was conducted to provide an overview of all the studied drug combinations against C. auris. Relevant articles reporting results of any drug, non-drug combination against C. auris were found by a systematic search in PubMed, Scopus, and Web of Science, and in Google Scholar up to October 1st, 2020. From 187 articles retrieved in the primary search, 23 met inclusion criteria. In total, 124 different combinations, including antifungal with under other antimicrobials, antifungal with non-antimicrobials, antifungal with natural compounds, and between natural compounds have been reported. So this study right here would be definitely a good one to have access to. The overall results, everything regarding this, I don't think is published, but let's continue further. Let's see. Complete or partial synergistic effects have been reported for 3 out of 45 combinations of 2 antifungal agents, 8 of the 11 combinations involving antifungal agents and antimicrobials, 15 to 32 combinations between okay, let's see.
Hey, I want to say thank you to F.U. Joe. I mean, you did something about
this. So the word that we're not allowed to say, let me see if I can read full text. Is that going to pop up here?
Yeah.
See it, yeah, there's a paywall. So that's a problem with a lot of things. It costs money to access all this. If you want, Greg or myself to, maybe you can access this on your own, you can purchase it on your own. This would definitely be a good study to have access to, because they looked into all the other studies, right, and then compiled the results. So this is definitely something you would want to know regarding this threat. So that being said, hit that super chat, guys, because we need, it costs money to access this information. But that word that we're not allowed to say, which rhymes with pectin, was a key word in this. So, I would definitely like to read this. I would definitely like to have access to this. I might be able to get access to it without having to pay, but as it looks right here, for 48-hour access, it's $15. So I'll go ahead and pause the share, or I don't know how. Let me see if I can get it back to you.
Hit the share button again. Same way you started, ought to unstart it.
Okay. What do I go back? Pause share. Did that stop it?
No, it hadn't. Let's see if I can stop it on mine. I should be able to tell you. Stop participant sharing. Bing. There you go.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Share right. I can give it back to you.
All right.
Yep. So just say Ivor says Arnold.
Yeah. Yeah.
It says Mecton. Yeah, I actually said the whole word earlier. Hope I don't get stomped on. That can happen. That can definitely happen. All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about protocols. We've talked about potential treatments. We talked about symptoms. We talked about how this can wreck the medical system. So we've covered most of the ground. Jennifer says, agree, great for chickens and waterfowl. So I actually also did a video where we taught this. Let's see if I can pull up my channel here in a minute so people can see things to look for. A lot of you aren't getting notifications, so maybe you don't even know when I do a video sometimes, especially if I upload one instead of going live, because it has a different kind of notification. So you may not even know about those. That's a definite possibility. Hey, my account, thank you for that. Also, earlier we had if you Joe gave a super chat. Appreciate all you guys. I guess that's like Sniffy Joe, right? So let me see. I need to pull up my channel and I'm gonna try to share it. Bing, 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 because I want to direct you out a couple videos that are of interest. Let me hit the share screen. It takes me a minute to get around all these different screens I got. Bing, there we are. This is my channel and it's showing we're live with Doug here. That's face there. So one video you want to watch is this bird flu video. I got 84 separate videos inside this video, and it's got very few views compared to my other videos. Yeah, I spent almost 4 days. I put a ton of man hours into editing this video, guys. And it's packed full of information that you need to know about. Now, that said, if you come over here and hit live videos, you're going to find this one. And last night, I believe we also talked about this in this video here, Russia ups nuclear ante. So I believe we discussed that in the course of this video also, if I recall correctly. So yeah, there's a bunch of videos here you really want to watch. That's some real topical topics. So to check them out in case you hadn't got to know, you just go to my channel and you can click on any of these videos. Or you hit videos and then do a sort on them that way. And that's the way it is with any channel. And go to Doug's channel, Uncommon News 777 on YouTube. Make sure you go there. If you're not subscribed to him, do it. Doug has got a wealth of great technical information. He is able to see through a lot of stuff and pick things out. And so it makes him a bit unpopular with the purveyors of the platform. Let's do the stop share. All righty, Doug. So yeah, I also shared some websites in the video that I did last night where I was walking through some of the sites on this topic, talking about it. Nightman's wife says, Greg, you should send this to Prepper Nurse One and get his view. Well, anybody can copy this video and send it to him, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, you have my permission. Send out that prepper's guide.
Yes.
Like I said, it's a free resource to anybody that's interested, anybody that cares. I made it for you guys so you can print it out, download it, share it, take a look at the research which has been done. It's totally free. If you want to send the link to Patriot Nurse or some different prepper channels, by all means, do it. I have a profile on archive.org which has a few things published already, and that list of preppers guides will continue to expand. I plan on making single page PDFs that are kind of straight to the point regarding different topics that pose a threat to preppers and how we can respond. I don't want to just, I'm not the kind of guy that just wants to give lip service to a threat. I don't want to just, say, hey, here's a threat. I want to say, okay, what can we do about it, right? As preppers, how can we prep for this? And that's the whole preface of my channel, right?
Preface the preface of prepping.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It works together.
Yeah, right. It's a little tongue twister. So yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a prepper that likes to read scientific literature, and I like to share that knowledge with other people. And I like to encourage everybody to do the research on their own and come to their own conclusions. That being said, that's why I make these guides to help guide you in what I think is the right direction. So yeah.
There you go. Appreciate that. Well, you have a good perspective, and the fact that you look at things in a scientific fashion makes a huge difference. A lot of people are just grabbing things from out of the air and come up with all kind of stuff. So that's key. A lot of people that's got technical discernment. You and also let's see, maybe ask a question. Let me scroll back up. You and Jason, who's in the house, is a Green Country Agroforestry. Oh yeah, Jason says, I like that flag you got there, Doug.
Thanks. My aunt knitted it for me when I was 5 years old. Yeah.
Just 5?
Yeah.
Wow. She got you set on the right trail, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Well, I asked for it. So
wow,
yeah.
5-year-old, you were asking for that. No, see,
Yeah.
that's your side there.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Well, don't let the IBF, throw that around like the word nug, right? Don't let the IBF find it.
Yeah.
They'll classify you as a ristoter.
Yeah, they can classify me as whatever they want. So I'm,
If you then don't dare say the word Ross Betsy, right?
yeah, you don't want to say that.
I might just name my truck Betsy Blue. They're so agitated with stuff.
Yeah, but when my aunt knit this flag for me, it wasn't so controversial back then. But nowadays everything is controversial. So I don't even want to get into it. I mean, this video will get flagged.
We should be proud of our country, but anyway, that's another
yeah.
You ain't supposed to be proud of the country. Only if you hate the country do you stand up in their twisted world. Oh
Yeah.
well. If you're on a CPAP machine, keep it clean, says Jason.
Yep, definitely bleach.
Yeah. I think vinegar is what they usually recommend for CPAP, right? So,
Not sure.
Yeah, I got one. I probably don't keep it clean enough. But I don't think I'm going to catch it, from something in my house. I think you get it going somewhere, going to the hospital or something like that. Anyway, yeah, you're getting a lot of compliments on your flag there. I wonder if Dr. Bonner's cinnamon soap would work. Dr. Bonner's cinnamon soap.
Well, if it has chlorhexidine in it, it definitely will.
Chlorhexidine.
Yep, chlorhexidine. I'll write it. I'll spell it in here.
All right. We don't have an issue with the flag, Max, but a certain agency, the IBF, if you flip that around, they actually wrote some of that, some things they had issues with, and the Ross of Betsy is something you're not even supposed to talk about. You might be a ristoter if you're into things like that, or naming certain presidents like the Jefferson of Thomas. Just the writer of our Declaration of Independence. That would be a document they would have all kind of heartburn with now. Maybe it's time we start waving it around.
Yeah. Stray Kitten asked me if I mentioned the nebulizer. Yes, I did. There's a study that I put. I think I put the source link in there about that. There have been studies regarding colloidal silver in a nebulizer being used for lung infections, and there was a case report that came out of the UK regarding a young child that whose parents put them on colloidal silver, nebulized colloidal silver, and what they found was that there were no adverse reactions to that. So it was essentially what they were saying is that it was safe. That was their findings. This was after 6 months after he I think ended that treatment. So just keep that bit of information, use that bit of information as you will. Take a look at the study. I do believe there's a source link to that case report. So, do with that information as you will. I personally use colloidal silver in a nebulizer quite often, actually, and I have not had any negative effects from that personally. So, but as always, consult your medical practitioner, consult your doctor about these things. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're getting a lot of compliments in here. Quite a few attendees. Glad you caught us, Joe. And he's thanking you for your information, along with a lot of others. We got 310 in the room. We only got 308 thumbs up. Oh, come on, guys. This platform always stumping on us. You can really help us by throwing in the thumbs up.
Yeah, and if you're gonna hit thumbs down, make sure you hit it twice.
There you go. If you see this, Greg, maybe consider what? What is that? Some guy splashing in something? I don't know. Hard for me to tell what that icon is there, the Watchman.
Watchman, good to see you. Good to see you as always, Watchman.
What is that icon, folks? It's some guy down in something oranges. He's like swimming in orange juice. I don't know.
Is that a bobblehead and a cup of orange juice?
I don't know what that is. That's it. A bobblehead and a cup of orange juice.
No, I think he's got an orange shirt on and he's going like this.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Help me. What we need to help you with, the Watchman. Need help. High is alkaline. Okay. That's if you need help, just lay it out there. Oh, make you a moderator.
I think you're a moderator on my channel, Watchman.
Is he?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. If you recommend him. Usually when people ask to be moderator, you don't usually ever give them a moderator. It's kind of the old rule of thumb in YouTube land. You might ask to be a moderator, never gets it. All right, let's see here. Yeah. Bang. All right, you've been smurfed, the Watchman.
His name's gonna be Blue now. Let's see it. Come on, Watchman. You gotta say something in the chat now.
You better earn your smurfing. Yeah, you just been silverized, colloidal silverized.
Let's see it. Let's see it. You got a comment. Is he still in here? Is he? There he is. All right. Let's all give a round of applause to Watchman. Congratulations there.
All right. So we do have a mod that watches mods, so be careful. All right, guys. Hey, I think we're pretty much done here. We've covered the waterfront. Greg Watchman is a model on Swivelhead, I believe. What? Model? I don't know what that means. Anyway, that's what my name means. Gregory's the Watchman. That's my name. Hugh is of the mind, and Allison's of holy fame in Teutonic. So my name is a full sentence. The Watchman of the mind of holy fame. Is that weird or what? And then Hugh is also the God frequency, supposedly, and that's what Rex was shouting in that tunnel before I shouted light with Halo, which is really weird. Go watch it on Rex's channel. Weird. Weird.
Mine means mysterious Twin Valley.
Wow. All right, guys. Snow Raven says, hey, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank all of you. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, mods. Every one of you. Just make sure you hit the thumbs up on your way out and leave some comments on other people's comments when they leave them in the chat later. And give some likes to other people's comments. Apaches and Blackhawks must be on training tonight. Oh, pickaxe is at Fort Bragg. He's telling us the Apaches and Blackhawks are buzzing around. Man, I tell you what, we're getting close, guys. Way to go, Greg, brother. Welcome aboard, Watchman. Anyone else would like to come? Yeah, we got a lot of mods in here. we is mod rich. We're the mod squad. Alrighty, guys. Once again, Doug, I appreciate you coming in the channel again. We'll have you back. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Doug, go do it now. So
Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thank you. And then everybody take care. Keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. And always remember, as light dispels darkness, love dispels hate. Go out and be the love light in the world. Let's make a positive change. Like Rex says, be the change you want to see. And with that, I'm going to say one more time.